Las Vegas is home to one of the largest school districts in the country, and it faces its share of intimidating challenges. Overcrowding and underfunding contribute to Nevada students dropping out at an alarming rate. But it's a different story at the dozens of campuses where communities in schools are on site. The outreach offers support these kids may find nowhere else, and the results speak for themselves. I'm here with Jessica Suarez, recent high school graduate of Chaparral High School. We'll hear how the program helped take her from dropout to graduate to university freshman. And Jennifer Lepardo is the Communities in Schools on-site coordinator who can speak to how these seemingly simple offerings of support result in such significant change for the students. And we're also joined by Dave Wilson, who is the former principal of Chaparral, who was tasked with turning around the previously underperforming school where Jessica attended. So we want to begin here with Jessica and hear a little bit about your journey. You were separated from your mother for a number of years, and at one point you chose to leave high school. Why did you do that?
Well, things got really hard after I was abandoned by my mother, and I started to feel as though I wasn't going to get very far. I lost my motivation definitely a little, but when we moved to Las Vegas, I came and I saw Chaparral, and I was like, wow, this high school is really great. The people are so nice, and that's when I decided, you know, maybe I need to pick this back up because I need to be successful.
Something special about Chaparral. So let's bring in Dave, who was brought in to effectively turn around, is the phrase that we hear thrown about the district quite often. Chaparral High School, what does that mean?
Over 3 years ago, Chaparral High School had the lowest graduation rate in the nation. It was sitting at 32%. We came in, I was recruited together with my team to come into the school. We actually let go of 200 employees. So we rehired the entire staff with one goal in mind, and that was to cause students to graduate. And two things cause students to graduate. First and foremost is quality, caring adults who will make the difference in children's lives so they can be successful. And one of the partnerships that we created was the partnership with Communities in Schools. And they are a huge part of the success. And the nice thing is, over the last 3 years, we saw the largest increases in graduation rates in the nation that have been sustained and will continue to build from there.
So let's bring in Jennifer. Jennifer was brought on campus to support students like Jessica. So tell us a little bit about the services that you do provide on a daily basis that allow you to make those meaningful connections, like the one you've built with Jessica.
Well, we're lucky enough on campus to be able to bring the most basic needs. So we do have a lot of closets with clothing and food and hygiene and school supplies. But my favorite part is the one-on-one relationship that we get to build with our kids. So really trying to figure out, you know, if there's problems going on and how we can fix it and how we can just get them to come to school and graduate.
You two have clearly built a very close bond that has extended past graduation day. So what does it mean, and at what point did Jessica really let you in? How did you know that this was really working between you two?
When she would come and see us, so in the morning she would come in before school even started and say, "Miss, I'm here, I'm here." And you know that when they seek you out, you know you're doing something right. So being able to see her and just guide her through, you know, her high school career has just meant a lot right on into college.
It is great to watch the support that she's still giving to you. So Jessica, tell me a little bit about your road to graduation. How did Communities in Schools and the programs on the Chaparral campus help get you there from dropout to graduate onto the university? And how did it feel when you walked across that stage and you got that diploma?
Well, to get to graduation, I definitely needed to catch up with all of my classmates because I had missed so much school with dropping out. So at Communities in Schools, everyone was just like, oh, let's help you. How can we help you get services, or how can we help you so that you can concentrate on making sure that you're able to pass all of your classes, pass the proficiencies, do whatever it is that you need to do in order to be able to graduate in June. And so they helped me with clothing and food and school supplies, because I knew that if I couldn't get that help, that I wouldn't be able to concentrate when it was time to really get to the main goal. And graduating was absolutely amazing. I felt like, I did all of this work and it is finally paying off because I get to walk across the stage and receive my diploma.
I mean, every student is over the moon on that day, but considering where you had been and the work you had to put in to get there to make up for the time away, it must have been magic.
Yeah, I felt proud of myself. I felt like I was making other people proud of me as well. I felt like I had completely stepped over all of my obstacles with a lot of help, grant you, but I was able to get over it and actually graduate just like everyone else did.
So from your perspective now as a college student, what advice would you give to the high school student out there who is maybe struggling with problems at home as well, and maybe struggling with keeping up in classes given what other circumstances they're coping with and they're thinking about leaving school? What would you say to them?
I'd tell them not to give up, definitely, because no matter what it is that is hurting you right now and keeping you from being able to graduate in your mind, there's no way that you cannot get around it as long as you seek help, as long as people who love you are around you and want you to succeed. There's no way that you can't get past it. Just to keep on with the motivation, because it's possible.
That's incredible to hear your story. Jennifer, also, I mean, Jessica is not the only people that you've seen move through to success. So what are some of the experiences that some of these other kids are sharing with you, and what's worked?
Well, we've been able to help all different types of students with different backgrounds. Some excel but still need that extra support. Some are homeless and really need, some services that are out in the community that we can, help them with. But the love and support that we offer and that we give has really worked, and they know where to come, they know where we are, and they know that they can get a granola bar, and that granola bar can turn into something very amazing, and they're able to succeed because they're able to focus and concentrate.
And for those of us who are not dealing with these kids one-on-one, and maybe we just are looking at them as statistics, I mean, you're individually meeting students who are coming into you and saying, I'm homeless, or I'm suffering with this or that at home. And what are some of the circumstances that they're coping with?
Multiple circumstances. Their families maybe are living in a weekly. We have a high transiency rate at Chaparral. Students that are unaccompanied and homeless. We help students that families just can't seem to get their feet on the ground. Whatever they could possibly walk in the door with, we help them with.
It's incredible. Dave, in your experience, and I know we spoke before the program started about how much you enjoyed the personal relationships you were able to build with the students on campus at Chaparral. These kids are dealing with a lot. What are some of the instances or individuals who stood out to you and the connections that you made as you're supporting them towards graduation?
Probably the most moving story was a young lady who came up to me and said, I'd like to set up an appointment with you. And I said, you're welcome to speak with me anytime. And she did. She came in, and because my door's always open anyway, but she came in, she sat down, and she said, I want to thank you. I said, okay, for what? She said, basically that her parents had abandoned her and put her on the streets as a prostitute, and that she had been out for about a month and a half, but every single day she had come to school because that was the only connection that she had. And she said, I wanted to thank you and the teachers because they didn't care how I smelled or the fact that I was wearing the same clothing. They loved me, they cared about me, and because of that, I've been able to put my life back together, and she graduated. That was probably one of the hardest, most heart-wrenching stories that I've ever heard. But it was because of people like this lovely lady that truly care about kids, and they knew if they came to school that they were loved, they were going to receive what they needed. It was a safe place.
As an educator, and you've been working in schools and now on a district level for a number of years, how pivotal is it, a program like this, to have that presence? I mean, we hear sayings like, oh, it takes a village, or, the community has to get involved and support the schools, or parental involvement is needed. But in all circumstances, you're not getting that. Now you are. How much of a change is it?
It's dynamic. At Chaparral and schools similar to Chaparral, it's not uncommon to have over 60 single parents that are attending school full time. It's not uncommon to have 20 young ladies that are pregnant at any given time on your campus. They always ask the question, where are the parents? For a lot of these kids, they truly are the parents. Their parents are busy working 2 to 3 jobs to sustain themselves, or the kids are living in apartments, or literally some of our kids have been living under bridges right behind the school. It's programs like this that truly cause students to be successful, because not only are they giving them the food and the shelter that they need, but also that contact and that support when they miss school. They're calling, they're visiting. They truly care about the kids, and the kids will respond to that. And the one thing that I've learned is that students will always raise to the level of expectation if it is given with true love and caring.
And would that be your advice for parents who maybe see their students struggling? Maybe they don't have all of the resources that they would like to support their student to be able to focus on school. Maybe it would be easy to suggest that they leave school to work or think of alternative lifestyles or plans for the family. But what do you say to those parents who are going to need to work hard themselves to keep their student in school?
You know, the thing that I always do is I tell them the truth, and that is the decision that you're making is not going to just alleviate the situation you're in now, but it's going to impact generations to come. You know, the things that you want for your own child, you want them to have a successful job, you want them to be able to have health insurance, you want them to be able to provide for their children. The decision that you're making now impacts the future. So you need to leave them in school, you need to cause them to be successful so that your grandchildren can be successful.
Jennifer, talk to me a little bit about how it works in your site on campus at Chaparral. They're coming in, what are you saying, what are you giving, what are you able to provide, and what are their needs?
A lot of times it starts with a snack, or it can start with a school supply. So they just come in our office and, you know, we'll grab them something, and then we start asking questions. What's your name? What's your student number? And then we start looking at their grades and asking them how they're doing and making sure they're getting their homework in. And they continue to come back. So we'll see the same students over and over. And the more they come in, the more we're able to ask those questions and really figure out what's going on at home. And provide further services if that's what they need. They come and hang out with us at lunch, so we have a really great little family environment that we offer them, and just make it very natural for them to just come and hang out. They don't really know that it's case management. It's more like a fun family environment.
And you need that home base. A lot of these kids, I mean, if you're saying that they're moving from place to place, week to week, or maybe they have no home to go to at night, they need that connection. And so how much time did you find that you were spending with dear friend Jenny here, who just really did become your friend and your biggest cheerleader? And how important was it for you as you were in this kind of, you know, always changing situation?
I found myself spending pretty much every minute that I wasn't in class in their office, which they were absolutely okay with. It was just before school, during lunch, after school, I knew that I could go in there and we could just talk, or it was just unconditional love and support in there. It was no matter what it is that you needed, even if you didn't need anything, you could just go in there, you could talk. And it really made me feel like there is someone who cares here on this campus, that wants to make sure that I can succeed and wants to make sure that I can do well. And so it was very, very important to me to be able to spend as much time as possible there.
And given what you have been through, I mean, essentially as a teenager, finding yourself separated from siblings, separated from your mother, homeless, it must have been very hard for you to get to an emotional place where you're ready to open up and trust that somebody does have your best interest at heart.
Yeah, other than who was in my household at the time, I didn't trust anyone else. I didn't think that anybody else would care about me enough to want to see me do well. It was just, it seemed that everybody else just wanted me to fail, just say, you know, you're just going to be like everyone else. You're just going to be one of those statistics. And it wasn't that way at all. In communities and schools, but I really did feel like not a lot of people are going to care how well I do. Not a lot of people are going to care what is in store for Jessica. And so it was hard at first, but they just had such big hearts. They were just like, even if you don't want to talk about it right now, just know that we're here if you want to talk about it later.
And they're helping you to learn that if Jessica cares about Jessica, that can be enough if you're focused, right?
Yeah. And I knew that I could do it myself just because they let me know that I could do it myself. That they were just giving me just a little extra nudge, but that I am fully capable of succeeding by myself.
Your mother moved across the country essentially without you, leaving you as a fairly young teenager. At what point did you have to let go of sort of a plan to reunite with her and focus on what would be the right path for you?
Well, after dropping out, I was realizing I'm not doing anything that would make myself or anybody else proud of me. I need to know that I need to let go of the things that are bothering me, that are hurting me, and I need to focus on the fact that I need to do well. I feel as though I need to do well because I want to help other people do well as well. And so once I saw Chaparral, I was just like, you know what, I'm going to start over. I need to let go of the things that are bothering me. I need to let go of the hurt that I'm holding. I'm holding grudges, and it's not healthy. And so once I started school again, I let it go.
And it's incredible. It's incredible to see you. Dave, let me ask you about sort of working with some of the students and how you can kind of keep track of their progress and as a turnaround school, what your expectations are leading that to the point, you know, where the district has set some goals for change.
You have to have very tight data controls. You need to know exactly where students are when it's coming to credits, exactly where they're sitting when it comes to their classes, that they're progressing, and ensuring that you're giving them the opportunity to succeed. But once again, sorry to say this, but it comes down to quality adults, and it comes down to kids being involved in school. And when people are checking in with them on a regular basis and giving them the encouragement that they can succeed, they do succeed. And when we came into Chaparral, prior to that time, there had been 4% of the kids that were headed to college. Currently, there are 40% that are headed to college and are being very successful. But once again, it's a matter of changing the expectation. The expectation is you are going to graduate, and we are going to provide you with those supports. Then after that, the next expectation is you're going to do something post-secondary. And the reason that you're doing that isn't just for your own success, but it's for the success of your future children, for your families. It becomes generational.
And those numbers are astounding when given even the statistic of how many students at Chaparral qualify for the free or reduced lunch program.
Currently, the official rate is a little bit under 80%, but the real rate is over that simply because some students don't return the paperwork. But the vast majority of kids, you know, they're living in circumstances that are very different than the circumstances that I grew up on or in. You know, one of the questions you get asked most of the kids is, how much do you have, your parents or you have to come up with to pay rent? I know that when I was a kid, I had no idea what my mortgage was from my parents. But the reason they know is because if they don't hit that magical number, they're not going to have a place to live in. And their circumstances are very different than the circumstances that most of us grew up in.
Yeah, they're burdened with a lot of very serious challenges and worries that as a teenager you just should not have to cope with. You also have a high number of students at Chaparral when you were there as principal, and I'm sure now beyond, that are primarily Spanish-speaking students, right? Or primarily speaking another language. So how do you bring those students into the fold and hope that they will also be part of that graduation success story?
About 60% of the kids at Chaparral are Hispanic. We always have kids coming in from other countries, coming in their junior year, their sophomore year. Had a large influx last year of students from Cuba that were coming in. And once again, it's that basic expectation. You are going to graduate, and then you build that plan for them to succeed. Teaching them to speak English, to be able to become fluent is a part of it, but that other part is providing the supports for them so that they will be successful. But you never give up. You say, this is what you're going to be doing, and then they'll rise to the challenge.
Jessica, I want you to talk to the student that's at home, hopefully watching your story and thinking, wow, she's been through a lot, and she did it, and she's doing it. What would you say to inspire them to not give up?
I'd tell them that it's possible. I'd tell them that no matter what it is that's in front of them, that they can get to the other side. I'd tell them that no matter how hard it seems, and even though you may not be completely motivated, there's people rooting you on. There's people who have faith in you, and that you just need to have faith in yourself and keep working. It's hard, but the ending is very rewarding.
And it's you have the kind of attitude where you don't get caught up in the fact that this isn't fair, that it's this much harder for me, or that I've had to go through this or that. You seem to be able to hold on to a positive perspective, and that has got to be a key to your success. Have you always been that way? Is that something that's just special in you? Is that something that you can teach to other people, or what's the secret to that?
I think that you just need to find something that makes you happy. You need to want whatever is on the other side of your obstacle. You need to want whatever reward it is that you're going to get for your hard work. I wasn't always very happy, and I wasn't always feeling like I could get to graduation. But I later on I was like, you know what? There's no reason to be upset. All I'm doing is I'm wasting emotion. I'm making myself sad all the time, and it's not healthy. And so I was like, I need to change my attitude. It's really about changing your attitude and becoming more positive, becoming a happier person. And once you're more positive and you're letting positive out, positive things are going to come back in.
That is so true. Miss Jenny, as some of your students like to call you, what's your message to another student coming up through the school system who might find themselves in the shoes of Jessica a few years back? A Jessica who is losing connections with her family, is not feeling the support or cared for like a young person should, and maybe they're thinking that school is not what I can focus on right now. I'm trying to get by. I'm trying to find a place to live. I'm trying to get some food to eat. How do you tell them that this is possible?
I just tell them to focus on education because that is what's going to change their future. The small obstacles in the beginning can be overcome if you look for support in the right places, but to keep working, and there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and education is the answer.
And for teachers who are on campus, I mean, we know that overcrowded classrooms is a pervasive problem across the school district. So it has got to be a challenge for these teachers to make the personal connections that are really needed for that student to feel the support to come back a day, day after day, in spite of whatever's going on after hours. So Communities in Schools is able to provide that, fill that gap for maybe the overwhelmed teacher who is just trying to get through the curriculum and stay on top of the students in that way, in the academic way.
Yeah, so we're definitely able to help with students that get referred from teachers, and we do the best that we can to get them back on track so that they're just focusing in that class and giving them that positive encouragement and being that cheerleader when the teacher sends them over, and giving them that pat on the back and that little self-encouragement and sending them right on back so they can pass that test.
I know that, Jessica, when you graduated and you had a moment to shake your principal's hand and get that diploma, you felt that there was a special little extra second there given to you to share in this celebration, and that he really understood how much it meant for you. Tell me a little bit about that moment.
Well, after I heard my name, I started to walk across the stage, and when it was time to shake his hand, he stopped and he said, "I'm really proud of you." And I felt like everything had stopped. I felt, wow, he really genuinely is happy for me. He's genuinely proud of me, and I'm proud of myself as well. I felt like everything had stopped. It was just that moment of feeling a genuine care from another person. It was just, I felt like I was on top of the world.
That just brings tears to my eyes. Do you remember this moment?
Oh yes, very much so. And that's the magic. And it's all because of this young lady, because she has done what needed to be done, and I'm so excited to watch her future and watch where she's going to be going.
Was it hard to move on from Chaparral High School after you have had such an incredible impact on so many students, and making these bonds with somebody like Jessica, and to be able to say, I invested in this gal, and look at what she's doing now?
It was very difficult, because kids are the magic. That's what brings a smile to your face. That's what, when you're working with students, when I was in elementary or middle school or high school, principal, when you're working with students and you build that bond and you watch them succeed, that's the magic behind the job, and it's hard to leave.
If anybody has a doubt that a program like Communities in Schools can work, the numbers are incredible. I mean, the impact on a graduation rate for a school with an on-site Communities in Schools program versus one without, staggering difference, right?
Oh, very staggering. In fact, if you look at the percentages of students who are graduating from high schools here in Clark County School District that are working with Communities in Schools, prior to the time that they're working with Communities in Schools, it's dramatic, it's dynamic, it's just a necessary partnership, because people who truly care about kids and give them the tools necessary to succeed cause students to succeed.
And you as a resource, Jennifer, I mean, these relationships that you're building, when school wraps up for the school year and the kids go off to the summer, do you get withdrawals from this program? Are you concerned about the kids? What do you do waiting for next fall?
3 days after, I'm like, where are my children? It's very weird to be without them, but graduation day is probably my favorite day. I cry like a baby. But to see them achieve something so great and walk across the stage is amazing. So definitely a few days after, you get the blues.
And just quickly, some of these students that come to you must be in a very challenged state emotionally. Some may be having even mental health problems that need further assistance than you can provide on campus. What do you do when you encounter this?
We are lucky enough to be able to broker a lot of relationships to outside community members and supporters and programs. So we will make sure that they have the services they need and plug them into the right place.
Jessica, I want to wrap things up with you. Number one, congratulations. Number two, thank you so much for sharing your story. And I want to give you the opportunity to say something to these two who are here with you, because I think that they've meant a lot to you and this program has meant a lot to you.
Right. Thank you. And thank you guys, because it was very hard to get to graduation, and you guys definitely made it seem easier. You guys made me feel loved and supported, and I can never thank you guys enough.
You let her know she could do it, and she did it. So thank you so much for joining us. Dedicated educators and organizations like Communities in Schools are really proving that our students can thrive when given ample support, and Jessica is clearly proof of that. Her success shows that through supportive community partnerships, magic can happen on the campus of a public school that previously fell short. If you would like more information on Communities in Schools, please visit our website, americangraduate.org, and look for ways that you can help students like Jessica, who are bursting with potential, learn to believe in themselves and know that they too can become the next American graduate.